Welcome to the Reviews Without Remorse podcast with Joe and Dave. Be warned, the discussions in this podcast will contain detailed spoilers. For spoiler-free reviews of newly released films, please check out our channel Reviews Without Remorse on YouTube and VidMe. Enter at your own risk and enjoy the show.
And welcome to the podcast of Rock Bottom Expectations. My name is David, and I am the Knight. And the true Man of Steel, my friend Joe. This is episode 40, and in this show we will discuss a teaser trailer for the sequel to the greatest Fantastic Four movie dropped this weekend. Joe and I will talk The Incredibles 2. Quentin Tarantino goes with Sony for his next movie. It has no title, but it has a synopsis, so we're going to talk about it. And lastly, because we are masochists in an abusive relationship with our heroes, Joe and I review Justice League.
Dun, dun, dun.
Something like that.
We should also say Happy Thanksgiving, because when this comes out.
My goodness, that's true. Happy Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen, to the people listening. I sincerely doubt you're going to be listening to this podcast while you're either cooking or somebody else is cooking for you, or you're ordering takeout or whatever it is you do on Thanksgiving. But still, happy Thanksgiving to you from all of us here. All two of us.
All two of us. To all two of you.
Oh, please, I don't think we have two. You have powers! Yeah, baby! So, 14 years later, we finally get a sequel to The Incredibles.
Was it really that long? 14 years?
14 years,
Wow.
dude.
Holy cow.
Okay. If anybody is not familiar with this movie, you should really see it. It is what a superhero movie should try to emulate, as far as I'm concerned. It had a really good story with great characters, great action, a pretty darn awesome villain, and just, it was fun. It was a fun movie. And my description of it in the beginning about it being, the greatest Fantastic Four movie ever is pretty apt as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it is definitely a very fun take on the superhero genre. Like everybody likes to do the superhero, but like, what if superheroes were this? What if superheroes were that? So we got the retired family superheroes, and it just works out great. And not only is it a great, fun film in that respect, visually, oh wow! I mean, they take cues from like some classic '60s set design. It's got a really sharp look to it too. It's really good,
and an amazing soundtrack too. Wasn't that like it wasn't? Was it John Barry originally that they got? I think in the end they got Michael Giacchino, but originally John Barry was supposed to do the soundtrack on it. Yeah,
and I think they were kind of aiming for that kind of like classic John Barry-esque feel to the music,
which I think they got, as far as I'm concerned.
It really hits on all cylinders. It's a really good movie.
Now the sequel trailer was released this weekend. It doesn't show a lot. It's very, very brief. It's the baby. It's the one thing that it does tell you is this is like literally 5 minutes after the end of the first movie.
Yeah.
Because the baby is obviously still a baby, and just the little that we see is the baby is still the baby. The baby has these.
The range of powers.
many range of powers, exactly. And I'm getting the feeling that the dad is going to be kind of Mr. Momming the baby.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. There's something in that cute little way. If you've got powers, and it's laser eyes, just gives him a haircut, and just kind of ruefully looks at the screen.
Yeah.
It's less than a minute. It's in less than a minute. I was charmed. I was enthralled, and I was like, yes, thank you. I cannot wait to see this movie. My kid is in that age now where he's like, no, I don't go see Disney movies. So I'm going to have to be the dirty old man that goes to the Disney movie probably on my own and getting stares from the parents.
Oh, he'll see it. Have you shown him the first one?
Oh, he loved the first one.
I hope goes to the second one. Anybody would.
I hope so. Because he's growing up too fast. I don't like that.
My special boy.
The movie is written and directed by Brad Bird, who wrote and directed the first one. It has the exact same cast. Everybody's back. Holly Hunter's back. Samuel L. Jackson. You can't do Incredibles 2 without Samuel L. Jackson.
Where is my super suit?
Honey!
What?
Where's my super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
Put it away.
Where?
Why do you need to know?
I need it!
Don't you think about running off to doing no daring do? We've been planning this dinner for 2 months.
The public is in danger!
My evening's in danger.
You tell me what my suit is, woman! We are talking about the greater good!
Greater good? I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you are ever gonna get.
Seriously. That's one of the greatest scenes ever. Craig T. Nelson, Sarah Val, all of them. So it's going to be Holly Hunter. Yep. Everything seems to be in place. It's not coming out till 2018. Looks like June 15th of 2018.
Okay.
But I'm on board.
I love you, pumpkin.
I love you, honey bunny.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you f***ing pricks move! And I'll execute every last one of you!
So, this past week, we lost a real... I'm not one to celebrate somebody's death, but you know what? Hail and farewell, Charles Manson.
Oh. Okay. I was wondering where you were going with that. Oh, yeah, Manson. Okay.
Yeah, we lost Charles Manson, and I'm so glad that... honestly, this was like the one thing that had me worried about Tarantino's up-and-coming film, because Manson would have been the type of guy that just would have like been really, really egotistical about the fact that they're making a movie about him. Okay? But let's getting to the point, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going around this the roundabout way. It has been confirmed ever since the Hollywood stuff has been happening. Quentin Tarantino is no longer working for the Weinstein Company, and he managed to get a deal with Sony for his next movie.
Wow.
And
did he have to go with Sony?
He's Quentin Tarantino. Do you really think they're going to give him any crap?
It's a good point, but why? Well, whatever.
Because he asked for $100 million to do a movie about the Charles Manson killings, and they're the ones that signed the check. So there we go.
You're right, and it's funny you talked about the thing that flashes back in my head is natural born killers and some people getting the irony of it and some people not getting it, and Manson would not get the irony of it, and he'd bask in it.
Yep. So I'm kind of glad that the son of a bitch is gone. Pardon my language. Anyway, so it's been confirmed. He's with Sony, and they actually, when it was confirmed, they released a synopsis. And this is the synopsis of Tarantino's next movie. Set in Los Angeles in the summer of 1969, Tarantino's up-and-coming movie focuses on a male TV actor who's had one hit series and is looking for a way to get into the film business. His sidekick, who's also his stunt double, is looking for the same thing. The horrific murder of Sharon Tate and 4 of her friends by Charles Manson's cult of followers serves as a backdrop to the main story. Though nobody's been cast yet, the rumor is that Margot Robbie is the front runner to play Sharon Tate.
I could see that.
I could actually very much see that. And it seems like every A-list actor is up for the part of the parts. I mean, they're talking about Cruise and Pitt and DiCaprio. And considering DiCaprio's performance in Django Unchained, I wouldn't mind seeing him in another Tarantino movie.
I'll buy that.
I'm very curious about this. The Manson cult and everything like that was kind of a fascination to me when I was a kid. But I was very Tim Burton-esque when I was a kid. I mean, I was reading Stephen King. There's like Charles Manson. What the hell, Charles Manson? Reading about the Hindenburg disaster. Oh God, I'm looking forward to this. Supposedly the rumor is that after 10 movies, Tarantino's calling it quits.
Really?
That's the rumor, and this I think is like number 9.
Okay.
Let's think about his range of movies. Is there a genre of movie he hasn't done yet?
Science fiction.
Maybe that's how he tops it off.
It might be interesting. But yeah, I like the fact that he's got a nice range of stuff. He dips his toes and leaves his mark on a lot of genres, and it's been pretty good.
Seriously. And Tarantino is kind of a special place in my heart for many reasons. Also because he was basically one of the first talking points that you and I had when we met.
I think that's very true.
Him and Robert Rodriguez were two of our our big things.
Yeah. They were very new when we were starting to hang out.
God, but yes, I am looking forward to this movie. They haven't even filmed it yet, but we'll see what happens next. Yeah!
We have to be ready. You, me, the others. There's an attack coming from far away.
Not coming, Bruce. It's already here. The others, where are they?
Fueled by his restored faith in humanity and inspired by Superman's selfless act, Bruce Wayne enlists the help of his newfound ally, Diana Prince, to face an even greater enemy. Written by Chris Terrio and Joss Whedon, based on a story by Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder, directed by Zack Snyder, at least according to the credits. Ladies and gentlemen, Justice League.
Justice League, it's here, finally! My lifelong wish of seeing my favorite superheroes on the big screen together. Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Couldn't wait!
Oh my God, if you could see the expression on his face, ladies and gentlemen, it's just, I've never seen an expression drip sarcasm as much as I've seen just now.
The only thing it's missing is Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog. Come on, and the Wonder Twins. Super Friends, let's go. How could you go wrong?
Oh, well, let's start with a 2-hour runtime so we condense the damn movie into a jumbled mess. Okay, I'm going to start actually with some good things. And the minute I saw it, I said to myself, Joe is smiling. That suit looked nice and blue, didn't it?
It did.
Okay, let's see. It had some funny moments. It had some genuinely funny moments. My kid was very happy when Cyborg said booyah. I thought that some of the interpersonal humor was nice. All right, now what? Okay, it's not quite. I'm pretty sure that part of this is the fact that we had lowered our expectations to, like I said at the beginning, rock bottom levels, and it's not as terrible as that, but it's not good. And you have a very, very condensed plot, and it kind of feels like somebody. It feels like for the editing process, they pulled out an old Colorform Super Friends kit and kind of just threw stuff on the wall to see what stuck. Mm-hmm. All right, and there's very little coherence in the plot. I appreciated a couple of things that they did differently. I appreciated the fact that Superman finally has a damn sense of humor and seemed to be a little more lighthearted in his return. But then again, I thought his return was the most ridiculous return ever of all time.
This is one of those where I walked out and I said, is it as bad as I think it is? Or am I just not getting it right away? Or do I need to sit with this for a little bit? I have a feeling as time goes on, everyone is going to sort of agree, like the last one, that this is a pile of garbage. When you sit down and break down the plot, and again, we're into spoilers, not that there's really any surprises in this film, frankly, but what happens? The bottom line is this story happens exactly the way you would think in the first draft meeting. Well, what do we need to have happen to make a story? Well, we need the invasion starts here, okay? Let's pick up where Batman left off and let's start him making the team, okay? So he's already making the team regardless of the invasion, okay? Just good timing. They team up pretty quickly. They fight the bad guys. They don't fare so well. They realize they need Superman. So what do? They Frankenstein him out of the grave, jolt him back into coherence. We get 30 seconds of evil Superman, because why not throw that in? And just so when all things seem lost, Superman will come back, we'll fight together and overcome the bad guys. It is as simple as straightforward as that. There was nothing creative, nothing with regard to like a twist or a turn or a surprise. It is totally straightforward. And everything, like you said, happens as oddly and strangely as you could imagine. Even things they alluded to in the last film. And then, now again, am I going to go back to the last film and say, but what about that? As if that was something great? No. But when they get around, yeah, I mean, we got almost an hour to talk about all the dumb crap in this movie. When they finally get around to jolting Superman back to life, I'm saying to myself, no, wait a second. At the end of the last film, right, we had the glimmer of the dirt rocks rising as if there was something going to happen, right? There was something in mind already. Well, here, it seems like that was sort of forgotten about. They dig up his corpse. Like, we're going to pet cemetery Superman back to life, right?
Which they actually even make the joke about.
And they just decide literally to Frankenstein him back, jolt him back, and they're even going to use some of the same technology, unless I'm not getting it right, that created Doomsday in the last one.
Yep. They even mentioned that too.
Somehow, this kind of combination of nonsense is going to jolt Superman back. Fine. All right. I guess that's how you bring people back to life. And again, it just goes to show that when things happen, I mean, again, when you saw Batman vs. Superman, the death of Superman was not only was it completely unearned, but you knew back then it had no weight to it whatsoever because you knew he was coming back. But how easily he comes back, how easily they just say, you know what, we should dig up Superman, bring him back to life, and it happens. It goes to show you that any weight to that scene was worthless anyway. And then, of course, you get the evil Superman for 30 seconds. Why? I don't know. I don't really get why that is. They don't explain why that is. And then he just turns into good Superman again. Whatever. The whole thing is a mess. I couldn't even focus on it. There was just nonsense flying everywhere. Again, as soon as the bug guy started flying out, I was just like, oh no, here we go. With just a screen full of just nonsense, and I can't keep up with who's doing what and where and why. The whole story was silly. Every scene was silly. When they open up to, and everything was cut weird, was shot weird. When Batman goes to the village where Aquaman hangs out, right? The first shot, like, I mean, they do this, you know, the opening shot, like of course he climbs over the mountain to look down on the village, which is like a half a mile down. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's the best way to get down to that village, I'm sure. All of a sudden they cut to him inside one of the places with a crowd of people. He's got everyone's attention. I am looking for, and meanwhile you see Aquaman sitting there, plain as day, like on the left, like there he is in the crowd. And I was waiting for like the big reveal, but it's like he's going, I'm looking for a man named such and such, and I'm like, he's right there, that guy. So like, and then he starts talking back like, oh, we don't know what you're talking about, dude, get out of here. Like, I'm like, where was the big reveal? Like give me like a big interesting reveal of Aquaman. He's just sitting there in the crowd. And then he's talking, and then they go outside to talk, and apparently the whole village just follows them and eavesdrops on the conversation. So as he
calls him Batman like 7 times,
right? Like, seriously, Superman comes back to life, and she pulls up and she yells Clark, and like anyway, there's enough to get us talking. Like, I walked out, I was just like, man, I mean, I had low expectations already. I predicted all year long it was going to be nonsense. I thought maybe Joss Whedon could throw some things in there, which he did, because there's some obvious Avengers moments where, you know, you could tell he jumped in and said, well, we need a little conflict between the guys so that later on they can form the team, and it's great. Whatever. You could tell that there was an effort to come in at the end where when Superman finally defeats the bad guy this time, they're all falling around, chuckling, laughing. It was great. Oh, aren't we having a good time? Aren't we having fun? Oh, now it's fun to kill the bad guy. Okay, whatever. Whatever. I mean, again, I could see the attempt. I saw the attempt to lighten certain scenes. They moved some things from nighttime to daytime. The costumes were colorful this time, and it's. I almost felt like it was. Sometimes it's almost to a detriment that they're so bright and colorful, because now the costumes look odd. But whatever. I asked for blue Superman and I got blue Superman, so Anyway.
I mean, yeah, you're really bitching about that. I mean, you were just making a point about the costume. How can you not appreciate that the costume's blue now?
Well, listen, no, I like the fact that it's blue. Well,
I'm being sarcastic, first of all.
I know you are.
We're clear.
but even, first of all, was Henry Cavill actually credited in this film? I felt like every time I looked at him, I'm looking at him, I'm watching the CGI mouth move. And I know
why?
I know
you know
that, yes,
why?
go ahead. I know it, but go ahead, explain it.
Because he had a beard, and they had to CGI it off of him when they did reshoots.
He had a full-blown... he's got a full-blown Magnum PI mustache through a lot of these reshoots because he's doing another film with the mustache. And instead of shaving the mustache off and putting a fake mustache on in the other movie, they decided to leave the mustache on and CGI it out for this movie, which probably makes you realize Henry Cavill's like, look, this movie's sinking like a stone. I ain't shaving nothing. I want that movie to work because I need a career after this. But even there was an extremely weird opening of a kid looking at Superman through his cell phone, right? Saying, "Hey, Superman, can I get an interview for my podcast?" He says, "Yeah, sure, kids." And it looks like I was really waiting for them to sort of back out and show that this was like a kid playing a video game. Because the effects and the CGI was so horrible, and not just his mouth, everything. It had this really weird, terrible CGI look to it. And I thought, is this going to be like a video game, something or other? And then when they cut it, I was like, it was almost like I tried to put it out of my head as quickly as I could because I was like, I don't know what I just saw. That made no sense, and it looked weird. The whole thing was just a mess. Take over for a while. I need a breath.
It's okay. It's okay. The movie suffers and suffers and suffers and suffers, and I can't really point a finger. I can't figure out where to point the finger. I mean, this is Zack Snyder's plot, so you can start with that. But Zack Snyder had a tragedy, and he had to bow out and give it over to Joss Whedon, so you can point to that. But then you have the Warner Brothers executives who says that these comic book movies are no longer going to be longer than 2 hours. It will only be 2 hours because we want to maximize as much profit as possible. You could easily point to that as well. It's like you have these three perfect storms that just came together and kind of threw up bile onto the screen. How it's incredulous to me as I was watching this, and I had moments where I was enjoying myself, and I had little geek out moments and everything, and that was fine. But how anyone watched any of this and thought, this is working perfectly, is beyond me.
Yeah.
And obviously Joss Whedon felt like, well, maybe we can fix this. But, you can only shine up a turd so much, man. When there's not much there to begin with.
That's it. I mean, they try to put a red ribbon on it, and it's like... I mean, like I said... When you think about just how simple the story is, again, just random villain shows up with his legions of such and such to invade Earth.
Parademons.
Right, parademons. These bug people. And again, who he is, why he has an army of this, whatever. They give us some convoluted little backstory. Who cares? It's just a very random, generic-looking bad guy.
He is a minion of Darkseid. This is the whole
the precursor
problem
to something, right? Okay, but again, I thought he looked ridiculous. His winged people his flying monkeys look ridiculous. Okay, all right, we have an invasion. We need super friends, so we have to find the rest of the super friends and put them together. And again, it was seriously, it was like 5 story beats. Story starts, invasion. Batman gets people together. We take on the bad guys. We don't fare so well. We bring back Superman. We go after the bad guys again. Superman joins us, and we win. It's as simple as that. That is all it is. It must have taken these people 5 minutes in the story room saying, "Wow, what should?" Again, you're talking about. And by the way, I'm sorry for my voice. By the way, I'm just, like I said, I'm kind of getting over being sick, and I'm just waking up or whatever. This company, the filmmakers don't have the same problems that Marvel does. Like it's not like we've got. Paramount owns Superman over there, and Fox has got Wonder Woman over here, and Sony's got Aquaman. They have free reign to all of their heroes, all of their big, DC superheroes. Okay, they can do any story they want, and just like Marvel, they have riches of years of stories to mine through and say what are the best stories to talk about, why we need the team together, or who is the bigger, what's the big interesting stories we can tell. And this is what we get. We literally get the simplest, easiest. Alien invades Earth. The team fights together. We bring back Superman because we know we have to anyway, and we defeat the bad guy. That's it. That's the whole story we get. And the beats in between, not much. I mean, all of it just seems so kind of like when he meets the Flash. I need to recruit you. Oh, yes, I have no friends because people are weird. Aren't you funny and cute and quirky? Aren't you going to be the whatever? Aquaman's the badass. And, of course, we got that. And I have a hunch they probably toned down a lot of the, oh, yeah, kind of stuff. I didn't find that to be as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And again, Wonder Woman was Wonder Woman. She didn't. And by the way, I liked the scene of Wonder Woman. We saw this in the trailer too. There was a lot that we didn't see in the trailer. The scene with the kids being held hostage, and she busts in, and that was a good scene.
Right.
The part when the guy pulls out the machine gun and sprays machine gun across the room to murder everybody, and she just super duper fast deflects all the bullets. I'm like, come on, really? So now she's as fast as like Superman and the Flash and can deflect a whole machine gun of bullet. I mean, one bullet I can get. The fact that she can, dodge one bullet here, one bullet there, I don't have a problem. I got it. Okay, I get that. But now she can just do a barrage of machine gun spray. So she's as fast as the other guys too. And I'm like, so we're all super fast? I don't know. I mean, I just said to myself, like, whatever. I mean, at that point, I'm like, I can't start already picking on it. I got to give it a shot, whatever. I mean, I really sat there and I said to myself, just turn your brain off. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it and just try to go with it. Just go with the flow, whatever, and just enjoy it. And I was really talking myself into this. I'm like, but at the end of the day, I'm just like I said, it was just all over the place. The screen is just a mess of junk, and I'm like, whatever. I mean, there's really nothing to latch your brain onto. There was no like anchor to say, here's what's happening here, and I get this part of it. Like if you explain this much to me, I'll buy the rest of it. It just seemed like everything was like this kind of fluid muck of nonsense, and I couldn't wrap my head around any of it.
No, it's beyond disappointing, frankly, because with my expectations set so low, shouldn't it have at least hit mediocrity? Shouldn't it have at least hit the middle ground for me with my expectations as low as it was?
Yeah, right.
And it didn't. It didn't. It didn't at all. And I'm sitting here as you're going through your rant, and I'm listening to you, and I'm kind of nodding along, and you're mentioning about, memorable stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, what was memorable? And I have one thing. It just happens to be my for your consideration. And yes, I actually have a for your consideration for this movie.
I'll take a guess, but go ahead. I'll save it.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a few, and I will guarantee you it'll become yours if you hadn't thought of it. But yeah, no, it's really difficult to talk about this movie because I can't. We went over the tiny list of things that I thought was positive about it, but even those positiveness, but even those positive aspects do not equal anything. It's empty. I mean, it's beyond empty. People accuse the Marvel movies of being these empty. They're just getting to the fight, and I never saw that. I always said to myself, no, they actually work on the characters, okay? Maybe it's perfunctory, but they at least try to do character development and growth. Here, like Cyborg should have gotten... This was the first time that most people outside of the comicdom saw Cyborg.
Yeah.
People know The Flash, people know Batman, people know Aquaman, people know Wonder Woman. Cyborg is the mystery element. Cyborg got completely shafted in any sort of story. They gave him like a 5-minute monologue about, am I alive? Am I dead? Blah, 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 blah. That wasn't even all that good. And gave him nothing to work with.
Yeah. And I found him very hard to relate to. And I thought again, I understand that he got his powers somehow from the cubes, that the Infinity Stones, by the way. The same cubes that they're trying to save is how he gets his powers. So he's kind of like this sort of like liquid metal, fluidy, robotic. So but every time he's doing something, though, I'm kind of going like, I mean, I've already complained in the Marvel films, and again, I love the Marvel films, that the tech is getting carried away, that they can just sort of do anything. I'm watching Cyborg just morph into whatever he pleases, like the T-1000 in Terminator 2. And I'm like, I have no sense of what he can do, what he can't do. I have no sense of what his limitations are. Like, there's no rules that seem to bind who he is or what he is. Not that I got. And the part where Superman comes back to life, and then he all of a sudden, whoa, my arm is turning into a giant cannon. I'm going to shoot Superman. Where did that come from? Like, I'm saying to myself, and again, I don't know a lot about the character. I only know what they're giving me in the movie. And I get that he's part man, part robot, and apparently can do anything. Like, he can plug into the spaceships. You know, his arms will turn into, like, wires and fluid and something or other. I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of any of it. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he turns his arm into a big cannon. Why? Because the savior of the Earth is sitting there. Why not? Why not shoot him and start a fight with him?
Because his automated defense mechanisms started,
which I hadn't seen before, by the way. I never really saw that before.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not defending it. Yeah. I'm not defending it. Right. I'm trying to say how they tried to explain it.
Right.
Yeah. No, that was awful. That was like, you know, they were relatively in a good situation where they could practically defuse it. And okay, here's the other side of the coin. You've just brought Superman back to life. Why is Lois Lane your B plan? Why isn't she the A plan?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Another good right. How about you're right? How about not have Batman, who tried to kill him in the last one, be sitting there saying like, "Hey, I'm here for some more."
And even the callback, like they did the callback to "Tell me, do you bleed?" It's like that should have been a really cool scene. And in the end, it was kind of like, "Oh, okay, checkbox."
Yeah. Right.
You know, we had to do that. And also, let's talk about a major little like a continuity flaw. See, they said that the mother boxes didn't start activating until after Superman died. Yet, in Batman v Superman, they show a quite active mother box giving Cyborg his abilities.
Right.
Somebody want to explain that one to me? He wasn't dead yet.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's like that. See, that is the thing that really, I think, at the end of the day, I mean, again, all of it was just a mess and convoluted and cliche. But the part I think that just of all of it that really disappoints the hell out of me is that there was no creativity in the story. There was no twist. There was no nothing. I remember in one trailer they showed Alfred saying, "Oh, I was wondering if you were going to show up. We were waiting for you," or something like that. I remember thinking back then, well, we already know Superman's going to come back at some point. So maybe they're going to bring in Green Lantern. We saw him in the logos in the beginning.
And we saw a brief shot
of a lantern
of the lanterns.
Right.
Yeah.
We did. So I thought maybe that would be a surprise, or maybe they'll bring in somebody else as a surprise. No. Well, all they did was throw a Superman who we knew was coming anyway, and they bring him back in the weirdest way possible.
Allegedly, that was supposed to be Supergirl.
Oh, who shows up at the end or something or other?
Yeah. Allegedly, originally, it was supposed to be Supergirl.
See, like something would have at least something to defy expectations a little bit. But this was such a by the numbers story that I mean that's the part that I go, again, how long did you have to think about this? How long did you have to work on this? How long? And again, unfettered access to all of your characters and years of stories, comic books to go back on to get stories from. So there's nothing with any. See, you know, I've heard people say that at least what this film does is they try to get away from, and you sort of alluded to this before too, at least they're not getting super deep. You know, they're not getting into like, is the world worth saving? You know, the nature of man and all that other stuff. Because I think they just, at the end of the day, they took, if there was any of that before, they washed it out, brightened up the colors, and just said, look, let's just have superheroes fighting monsters, okay? So, and when you talked about how it's not like it's so far from being a home run, it's like what they did was they bunted. They were so gun shy from the last few. They heard people saying like it's so dour, it's so miserable, it's so this, it's so bleak, it's so whatever. So they pumped up the colors, threw in a couple of chuckles. took out anything with any weight and called it a bunt. Let's play it safe. Let's get a single on this one. And even then they can't do it because what they start with is such a mess that, like you said, you can't polish it back to you can't jolt it back to life like Superman.
I almost wonder if maybe they bunted on purpose. Like, you know, they were like, "Oh, this is the type of movie you want? Fine, we'll give you that." Like in a petulant way.
Right. Well, yeah.
This was a petulant reaction. Because I remember I told you, I said it on an earlier show, and I'm going to remind you and the audience again. There was an interview with Deborah Snyder, who, when they were filming the Justice League movie about a year or two ago, she made the comment, well, I guess people just weren't ready for a deconstruction version of superhero movies. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying during the show, I was like, what a freaking child. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, your vision didn't work out. And now I kind of feel like their original plan was, you know what, we'll do it their way and we'll be able to say, see, it was even worse. Now let us do it our way.
Ugh. See, I mean, yeah, you're right, exactly. Like a petulant child, and I'm sorry my audience is too dumb to get it. No, it's just, nobody wants to see miserable Batman, miserable this, and miserable. I mean, again, there's...
I'm okay with miserable Batman. That kind of fits.
Like, right, okay. Batman is fine. But not miserable Superman. And not every other character being miserable. And like you said, of course, now we get, you know, comedy relief Flash and cool dude Aquaman and you know, by the way, I remember when we were talking about the trailers a while back. And I remember at one point you said something about Cyborg, and it was like, don't worry, Alfred, I got this, whatever. And you were like, why is he that way? Why is he so glum and why is he so quiet? Or how come there's no life to him at all? And I remember I didn't really react to your reaction because I felt like, well, maybe he's robotic and that's what he is. Maybe he's part robot and that's how he's supposed to act. But once I saw him in the context of the film, that he's a real guy with real feelings and real emotions who just happened to have the artificialness added to him through an accident or whatever, now I understand why you're complaining. That he should have had some life to him. There should have been some character there. But he really wasn't. He was very lacking in anything. And I know I get stuck in the costumes, but I thought I didn't understand why his costume looked the way it did. Like, it was a lot of sort of jagged metal. And it was weird because at the end, they show them, like, almost like in the epilogue or whatever, I guess where they show sort of where they all go off to live their superhero lives, they refine his costume into more what you are used to from the comics.
Right.
I didn't understand. Once I saw that, I'm like, okay, but why wasn't it like that before? Why was it this kind of... I get that he's like at an early stage or something, but it just looked odd. I can't really put my finger on what I mean. It's almost like you chiseled the metal with a chisel and a hammer. And it was like this jagged metal look to it, and I thought, well, why would it look like that? It didn't, I don't know.
Because it was still evolving. Did you realize it's still evolving?
I don't know. See, but again, that's, you know, that's a problem with these things too. Again, you know, when you start off, when you give yourself these, like, again, these boxes, these MacGuffins that can just do whatever we say they do. There's no rules. There's no playbook. There's nothing. If you don't understand why it doesn't work, tough noogies, because we will tell you what it does. Because we can, you know, we'll just call it a MacGuffin, and we'll say it does this, and we'll say it does that, so that you can't turn around later and say, that doesn't make any sense. Because you're not supposed to, you know, like, I just feel like they can just sort of just do whatever nonsense they want now. Any special effect they can come up with and say, well, it's because of the box. It's because of the box. And I'm like, but what is the box? What am I supposed to get? I mean,
what's in the box?
What's in the box?
I mean, at least with the Infinity Stones, they give me like, well, this one is this, and that one is that, and that one is that. And look, they're ridiculously powerful things, and they're MacGuffins as well. But there's some guideline as to what it is and why we should worry about it and what it will do. Here it's just I'm looking at black boxes, and they're like, oh, the box this and the box that, and it kind of radiates and textures and does whatever. And now Cyborg gets involved with it, and he becomes like this super kind of robot who can just sort of do anything at any given moment. And it's like, is it magic? Is it like interdimensional something? I'm like, I don't know what it's supposed to be. So again, so when I'm just watching nonsense, I feel like they're just, it's almost like they're trying to tell me, stop trying to figure out what it is. It'll be whatever we say it is on any given day, because it's just a magic box, and just shut up. So I don't know. Like, I just, again, they don't give you, like the Matrix gives you a set of rules and you stay within certain rules. I mean, it makes sense. So you can feel fear at certain moments. You can feel like, uh-oh, you better not do that because this is what'll happen. I get none of that. I just watched a magic show with just a lot of special effects, and I have no feeling about it because, again, they haven't told me anything about what this is or what it does or whatever.
No. There was nothing to grasp onto. There was nothing to look at positively. It was a giant shit show of flashiness and emptiness. Of empty fight scenes that meant nothing in the end. Okay, nothing substantial. No real moment. No character arc. No real moment of indecision, or no real anything. All right, and some of the things that they were even trying to like get at is like, maybe you should ask Diana out for dinner or something like that. Yeah, that goes nowhere.
I will admit, I got a chuckle in the beginning when Bruce says something to Alfred like, "Did you call her or whatever?" And he's like, "What, should I go to Paris and slip her a note that says, if you like me, check this box or whatever?" I did chuckle when that happened.
Do you want to join my super team? Check this box for yes or this box for no. J.K. Simmons was basically thrown away as Commissioner Gordon, and I kind of was seeing little bits of what he could have been a great characterization.
And boy, was he just a cameo in this.
Yeah, just it's a mess. It really, really is a mess. And as we're talking about it, I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna blame the 2-hour runtime. I'm gonna say that any nuance that this shit show could have had, it was destroyed. It was destroyed by a 2-hour runtime. This needed to be. This is the Justice League. This is supposed to be an epic flick. So it's gonna need to have a little more runtime to make that last battle mean something. When Superman shows up, you should be all like, "Yay!" Instead, I was like, "Oh, they used John Williams music."
That was, the snippets of classic music. I did catch that, and I thought that was interesting as well.
That's because of Danny Elfman.
Yeah. Listen, when you say the running time killed it, I'm not as optimistic as you. I understand what you're saying, but I don't have any faith that the stuff in the other 50 minutes or whatever it would have been, I don't know that it would have been any more deeper and nuanced than what we got.
I don't know either.
I mean, we saw the runtime, the extended edition of Batman v Superman.
Which we're reviewing next week.
It gave it a little more breathing room than the original, and it probably makes it a mildly better film than what we got in the theatrical cut. But it's still the same thing. I don't have any faith that a longer version of this is going to make a difference, and I'm sure we'll get it. I'm sure we're going to get it, so we'll talk about it then. But I don't have any faith that that's going to make it better.
No, I don't either. To be honest with you, I really, really don't, because I don't get what they were trying here. I really, really don't. I feel like I feel like whatever plans they had for Justice League, that the reaction to Batman v Superman completely stumbled the confidence of the entire production, and it became a situation where I think like Snyder probably had carte blanche with Batman v Superman, and I think that with this production, now all of a sudden it was like notes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's what's the saying, that success has many fathers, failure has none?
Yeah.
We're never really going to know what went wrong here. Not in this lifetime.
Look, can I tell you something? I disagree with you. I think we know exactly what happened. The Zack Snyder grabbed it, ran with it, decided to make a 300 version of the Super Friends. All we need is a giant army and the Super Friends to fight them. There's not a lot to it. And the story was underway. It was pretty much done. He backs out. Joss Whedon comes in. And what can I do here and there? He throws a couple funny scenes in here. He pumps up the color. He makes the two guys chuckle at the end because Superman laughs. Finally, we get Superman laughing, and that's it. I think we know where the problem is. Again, it's the same. It's the same problem as Batman v Superman. Just we got more people in it, so we're gonna have more minions in it. Simple as that. Instead of having Batman fight Superman and one big monster, we'll have Batman team up with Superman to fight an army of monsters. And that's all this was. It was just an army of schlock, faceless nonsense, stormtroopery. Okay. And we'll fight them all, fight the big bad guy. The three boxes. Okay, fine, whatever.
But if you went through the end credits, you see there's a League of Villains coming.
Oh, goody.
Deathstroke the Terminator and Lex Luthor are getting a band together. Yay!
Yeah, okay. Let's all wait for that one. Look, I tell you what. At this point, now that this movie is hot garbage, it's a waste of time. We've covered that. What do you think they could possibly do at this point? Because again, like I said, the casting is okay. I mean, if I'm gonna point some positives now, I mean, again, like after just solid bashing this movie, is there anything positive I want to say about it? Well, look, I think the cast is fine. Whether Affleck is planning to stay or not, who knows? I'm leaning toward no, whatever. Wonder Woman is good. I have no problem with the rest of the cast. Even Cyborg, who doesn't seem to be doing very much. By the way, the CGI on Cyborg looked better than in the trailers, even though the CGI in other places looked awful. I mean, I swear I'm not kidding when I say 90% of the shots of Henry Cavill I thought were all CGI, like he wasn't even there. Even the shot at the end with the after credits with the two of them racing. Yeah. Like Ezra Miller standing there talking, they cut back to CGI Henry Cavill. I mean, like watch his mouth. He looks like he's not even there at all. Not even just his mouth, but everything looks like it's all CGI. I don't know what happened there. So, what was I going to say about positives? Look, I think the cast is good. The cast is good. If they want to go forward now and try to do more Justice League-ish type things, they could probably do it. They could probably say, look, bring in Patty Jenkins and say, you do it. Why not? Maybe somebody can breathe some life into this at this point going forward. Who knows?
So what was your score?
I am going to give this a 3. I think the 3 is generous. Frankly, I think the only reason I'm not giving this a 1 or a 2 is because of the last-ditch effort to try and put some life, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of levity into it. The last-ditch effort to make Superman seem like Superman. I mean, there's a shot at the end where he runs out, pulls out, opens up the shirt, the S is underneath, he takes it off. Hey, that's kind of the Superman that I remember. Again, why he's chuckling at the end of this one, I'm not sure, because he's been miserable up until now. He's been dead and brought back to life. I don't know. Whatever. There was a last-ditch effort to try to make this more likable. Somebody finally realized, we should have heroes that people like and would like to spend 2 hours with. Is it successful? Whatever. The whole thing is a mess. I genuinely wouldn't... I will probably watch this again at some point before the end of the year because I kind of want to see again. It's another one of those like Blade Runner where I want to see, is there more to it that I'm not getting? Am I missing something? Am I cutting something short? Not for the same reasons I want to see Blade Runner again. I mean, Blade Runner, I'm saying to myself, is there a hidden masterpiece in there that I'm missing? Here, I'm not looking for a masterpiece by any stretch. But is there more to it than just the pure, utter nonsense that I got? I don't have any faith in any future movies with this crew. I don't know. I wish DC needs to just reboot and start again.
You have just heard the sound of a 12-year-old boy's heart breaking, ladies and gentlemen.
You're not kidding.
Well, I mean, there's not much they can do. I mean, Aquaman is already done filming. That's coming next year. I gave it a 4. I actually had a little more fun with it than you did, obviously. But it is a terrible movie. It is soulless. It is lifeless. It is paint by numbers. We're trying to do this because this is what the people want, and there's no passion involved with it. I just, how do you screw up Justice League? And guess what? Now we know.
I'm wondering now how you justify a 4 after what you just said. Lifeless, soulless nonsense. Because within there, I did have moments of geek outness that I really enjoyed. I liked seeing Deathstroke at the end. I liked Superman being Superman-y more than any Superman has been so far. I liked Batman. I still like Batman. I'll always like Batman. I like that, as always, he was,
straight to the point and a bit of a dick. I didn't like the fact that he just didn't seem to care that people knew he was Bruce Wayne all of a sudden. There were things about the movie that I did enjoy, so I gave it a little bit less crap than you. It definitely made me like Man of Steel a lot better.
Let's do it. All right.
Let's get right to it. Who asked you?
Who asked me? I so many things I want to say to
Everything!
this. I think from the and it's like there's so many details. I'm going to give you 3 things for this, right?
Oh Jesus!
My third runner up. Batman fights the first goop monster parademon, ties him against the wall. When he explodes, the glowing green guts leaves an image of 3 boxes against the wall. Why? What is that? Why would that be? That made 0 sense at all. Unless he's wearing something on his backpack that has 3 squares, why would it leave an image in guts on the wall of 3 boxes? Just so we can go, oh, the three boxes. Oh, I get it. No sense.
Number 2.
My second runner-up. The conversation that Lois Lane has with Martha Kent, okay? Thrown in for no particular reason. Could have shown up in any part of the movie. There's a line in there where Martha Kent says, Clark used to say you were the thirstiest reporter he'd ever seen. Oh, wait. I think he said the hungriest reporter he'd ever seen. How these 2 actresses sat there with straight faces and let that line go by unchallenged, that just made me cringe.
Ladies and gentlemen, you didn't see it, but I actually covered my face when Joe said that line because I remember thinking, like, what was the point of that?
What? Just so random, so stupid, and just
I mean, all I can think of is that they were going to have some kind of subplot where Mama Kent was like going senile or something like that. That's the only thing I could think of. But
so painful.
But still, no, that's terrible.
All right.
And the number 1 Who Asked You for Justice League.
All right. I'm just going to say the quote-unquote rebirth of Superman. Now, again, I remember this was sort of a thing in the comics, and it was a big epic sort of thing. When Batman v Superman ended, okay, and again, there was no surprises here because you knew he was coming back. But they left it in kind of a limbo where you were expecting sort of a Star Trek 4 type revival where we have to learn more about Superman and about Kryptonians and about what maybe he's not really dead, maybe he's or who knows. I was expecting something kind of resembling a little twist, a spark of, oh, here's something we didn't know before, and that's why Superman comes back to life. No. We get the Dr. Frankenstein, jolt him full of energy, shock him with the thing while we dunk him in whatever, and this combination of something or other should jolt him back into coherence. And
leave him completely scarless. I mean, he was impaled by a freaking
right,
Doomsday.
Right, and do 30 seconds of evil Superman because that'll be interesting for the audience. Probably the most shockingly uninteresting, unsatisfying moment in any film. Again, I mean, how anybody just thought, let's do this to bring back Superman. Jason Lives made more sense bringing Jason back to life than this did to bring Superman back to life. I was just shocked and appalled at how lack of imagination and lack of any kind of a substantive or there was no imagination in this whatsoever. I don't know. It kind of just blew my mind away.
The disappointment is dripping off of you. I had 2. I originally was going to try to pick one as we went along, but since you did 3, the heck with it. I'm going to do 2 myself. The first is the over-reliance of CGI, especially with Cyborg. Why didn't the guy have a suit and there were moments in that movie where he looked just terrible. I understand the eye thing. The eye thing you had to do, and that's fine. There's no real getting away. But he could have just had a suit. He could have had a suit. Or you could have done it like the way they did with the Winter Soldier, where he had the sleeve, and they just, they had the sleeve. It was a sleeve that they put on his arm that they would just touch up in post, as opposed to just completely CGIing. And the mouth thing, all that stuff. The CGI was terrible in this movie. Sometimes Steppenwolf looked, okay, that looks pretty good, and sometimes Steppenwolf looked like, no, that's crap.
Yeah.
Terrible crap. But to me, more so than anything else, the thing that they really should have changed, maybe you shouldn't have marketed the movie until you knew exactly where you were going with the story, because there's a lot of scenes that we've seen in all those trailers that didn't make the final cut of the movie.
Right. Yep.
A lot.
Yeah.
Batman's little, my turn. That never happened. There's videos out there. Just look it up. There's videos about people saying this wasn't there, this wasn't there. The whole backstory to Victor Stone is left to our imagination forever, as opposed to it was supposed to be a major element. So screw you guys for editing that out. For your consideration, Joe, I can't wait to hear this.
Listen, I don't have much, and probably what I do have. I guess what I'm going to say is going to be perfectly predictable. There was a glimmer of the Superman that I was hoping for. Listen, you gotta. There was a last ditch effort to lighten it up, and again, I don't need it to be light. I just need it to be good. You know, but there was some effort to try to do something with this to bring some color into it, but I don't got much. I don't have much. In fact, I'm saying to myself, why did I even bother with a 3? This really should be like a 2. I mean, there's an effort there. There was an effort to make it big. But again, the story is so hollow, completely hollow, that I just say to myself, like, I don't know. How about this? Wonder Woman was still pretty good.
That seems like a cop-out. Okay, for me, yeah, it was nostalgia, but it worked. When Superman returned and the John Williams theme hit, I kind of geeked out.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I wish there was a little more of the themes for me to get excited about. I did catch it a little bit, but I kind of only did like, did I hear it? Did I not hear it? I wasn't sure. So yeah, I can't even really give it all that. But yeah, like I said, I'm really shocked at the simplicity of it. I'm shocked at how, again, any attempt to there was never an attempt to surprise you. There was never an attempt to throw in a surprise here and there. There was never an attempt to play with your expectations. It was exactly from A to B to C to D, and that above all the schmaltzy schlockiness, that's the part that I just say to myself, wow. I remember going back to the prequels, saying to that, you had years to think about this. You had years to work on this, and yet and so many ideas thrown around that this is what you came up with. But at least he wrote something. I feel like the guys who sat and put this together just said, look, what are we going to do? Big monster A, team up, bring back Superman, defeat monster, period. And it just kind of boggles my mind that that's all we got. Not to mention, again, and I feel, remember in Batman v Superman, we said, well, at least they're going back and listening to what we said about all the people getting killed in Man of Steel so they can find it to the island. When I saw the big kind of leafy shell enclose this one tiny little area, I was like, oh, that's how we're going to solve it this time? We're just going to enclose this one tiny little area, and we'll all fight in there. And we're only going to show one family in this whole place, right? We'll keep going back to the same family every time so that no one else lives here except for these people. So you're not worried about people getting killed everywhere until the very end when the Flash rescues the family, which, by the way, should have killed those kids in the back of the truck, by the way.
100%.
Yeah. But then Superman flies by with the whole building, which was kind of a good chuckle. But then you went, oh, there are people here. There are people here. Okay, I get it. Okay, but now they're all saved because they're in that building. Okay, I get it. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I mean, but at that point, when they're in that big dome and the big kind of glowy roots were going everywhere. I mean, I at that point I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I just give up. I could have just been tired and cranky. Maybe I gotta see it again. I don't know.
No. Your feelings are valid. If we want to do a revisit of either Blade Runner or this, we could. But let's just stick with what we got.
The end of the year is coming, so.
Yeah. But next week, believe it or not, I'm actually not too upset about next week. I'll be more upset about the following week. Because next week, we're doing Batman v Superman, the extended edition. I get the feeling it's not going to be as bad as it was. Now that once you see, oh, look, there's a giant pile of shit. Oh, look, there's a giant pile of shit that is diarrhea-based, and I have stepped in it and gotten it on my fingers as I'm eating my dinner. The steaming pile of shit that's solid looks a lot better, doesn't it? Yes, next week we will be doing Batman v Superman, the extended edition. The week after that, the things we do for our art. The week after that is Suicide Squad. You listeners better love us.
Oh, the DC. That will officially do the DC universe for us too, by the way.
Yes, that was the whole point, because we had done Wonder Woman earlier the year. This will be it. We will be caught up on the DC universe. We still have a ways to go with the Marvel universe, and I'm making sure that we do the Captain America trilogy next year.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and then we're going to finish out the year with Star Wars, right?
Yes. Star Wars is how we end the year before we do our top 10s. Yep.
That will kick off the new year with our top 10s, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Joe, thank you so much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, and you all have a nice night and a great week.
Enjoy. See you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Reviews Without Remorse podcast with Joe and Dave. Join us here every Thursday for a new episode. And be sure to check out the Reviews Without Remorse channel on YouTube and VidMe for spoiler-free reviews of new releases, as well as in-depth discussions of current and classic cinema. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider becoming a patron. You can find our page at patreon.com. As little as $1 a month goes a long way. All clips in this podcast are used for commentary and critique, and is considered fair use. No copyright infringement is intended.